It's doing good, Isaac. It's been a pretty good day. So,
All right.
ugh. All right, that's the way to open it.
Yeah, there
Um,
you go.
no, yeah, I'm doing good. It's been a nice couple of days of sun. Now it's like windy, but it's like a nice, cozy windy out.
Right.
So I look very oily right now because I just like rushed out of the shower. Um,
hmm
so there's that. Um,
Awesome. No, sounds great.
how are you doing, Isaac?
I'm good. I'm good. Just final season. I don't have like any exams or classes this week. So I've just been like doing a lot of really fun stuff that I don't normally do. Just like sleeping in a lot, really. It's really cool. I'm a big fan. Um,
Nice. That
I
is
know,
a
no,
really
I
cool thing though,
no,
without like repercussions.
all my exciting shit's later in the week, and I know it's Thursday, but like it starts tonight. Like it's dollar beer night. And then tomorrow's Friday, which is Cinco de Mayo, if you didn't know. So I got a few things going tomorrow, and then we go strong into finals weekend. And then on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I have exams, but then I'm done. So just kind of grinding it out right now. I mean, you're not in finals because you're in quarters. When's your term up?
Uh, June.
Okay.
So,
Holy shit.
yeah, it's in a while, but
Hey, that's next month.
yeah, I don't know. But this is my first week. I didn't really have anything to do for the second half, so I
Right.
feel really good. I'm gonna apply to a bunch of jobs tomorrow.
Hey, there you go. Where are you
I'm
trying to
looking
work?
for anywhere for the city of Seattle. So,
What are you trying to do though?
um, let me. Okay, off the top of my head, there's like so. For example, the three positions I applied for, they're all like they are all public affair related stuff.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
one is you for the Washington State Department of Transit, and you're analyzing a like bike share and bike lanes.
hmm
That one seems cool. And then there's another one where you're just measuring rain on streets, which
Awesome.
is pretty badass. And then the one I applied for a week or two ago that I kind of want to get is it's community outreach, but to seniors in Seattle. So you just
hmm
go talk to a bunch of seniors and ask what they
Okay.
think of government, which would be pretty awesome. So, um, yeah. So that's
Oh,
pretty
no, that
much it.
sounds great.
Yeah.
That's super exciting. Gonna be
Um,
big Mr. Public Office up here.
well, we'll see. I got a month left, and I've only got one interview this entire winter. So
No,
let's
they're
see how
bitches
it
with love for
goes.
real.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you what are your like plans in the summer, Isaac?
Doing a few things. So it's still a little fluid because I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do. But right now what it's looking like is I've registered for like two classes, which it's a 6 and a 10 week class. So I might drop out of the 6 week one just because it's not really necessary because I did pretty well with registration. But so what I'm probably gonna do is I'll probably be taking at least one class up to two. Um, and then working 1 to 2 internships or part-time jobs. Like I have a like internship, which is just a part-time job right now lined up with like a little bar lounge area. So I basically would just bartend for the summer.
Nice.
Um, but it would be like an internship because I would learn how to like because they're like developing their business model right now. It's a new restaurant.
Oh.
So I would get some experience there, which is good because I'm trying to go into like small business consulting. But we'll see. I'm trying to keep it pretty fluid.
Mm.
Last summer because I'm not going to grad school. Just trying to have a good time. That being said, got some stuff I got to do, but trying to keep it fluid but busy. But we'll see.
Nice. That's a good idea. I like that. That's a
No, yeah.
serious. Well, Isaac, I was gonna, I was thinking about this Stickscast, right? And I was maybe we gotta shake up the formula a bit. I should
Okay,
have
sure.
told you about. It. And well, to start off, I was gonna do a thing where it's like, oh, I'll do a like a joke or a pun related to the title, whatever movie we're covering. But this was like the worst possible week to do
Yeah,
that.
that's the worst. That's a
Yeah.
bad week to do
So
it.
that's gonna be saved for next week.
Thank you for
But
that.
well, wait, say something.
Thank you for that.
Huh. You
Nightmare,
sound.
nightmare, nightmare.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's why. It's like I wasn't looking at you, and so you're really close to the mic, but I didn't realize. So
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll back off.
startled. No, 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 no. It was fine. It just
Is this
startled me.
better?
Yeah, that's
All
perfect.
right, cool.
Well, it was yeah. Anyways, so I tried a thing out instead where I use the community feature on YouTube.
All right.
And basically what I did, I'm gonna try this up from here on out. So I'm also doing this now to if whoever's listening to use it for the next week, where I'm just gonna say the title of the movie we're talking about, and if they got any questions right related to the film, we can talk about it, or just general questions, right?
Smart idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I like how I just didn't tell you this, but I mean,
No, it's a good idea.
yeah, yeah, I
You
don't
should
know
always
why you
keep
would.
your best ideas to yourself until it's very publicly discovered. Because who knows? Maybe I would have been like, Nils, I have this great idea. And you're like, wait, I just told you that a week ago. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? So no,
No.
it's good. It's a good business mindset.
All right. Well, we got one question, which is
Oh, really?
actually, yeah,
Awesome.
I was not expecting, but it's our boy Kevin Stevens. Oh, so thank you,
Let's
Kevin.
go, Kevin.
We'll
All right.
take a question, not related to the film, but it's still a question.
Okay.
So
Hey,
we'll
fair
take,
enough. Fair enough.
I like how, yeah, I introduced this. Oh, a question. I just, it's the movie itself is this
Yeah.
super, yeah. So, but Kevin commented, probably get asked this a lot, but how did you guys become so passionate about film? Keep up the good work, by the way. Um, thank you, Kevin. Very, very, very nice
After
comment.
my own heart. Wow.
So Isaac, if you want, I can answer first because
No,
you
sure.
haven't
Yeah.
seen it. So just to give you time to think of one. Even though I've had 2 days to think of an answer and I kind of didn't, but it's fine. I would say a big thing, even though I don't know, I don't even know if I'm a huge film guy, but um, I think why, because film is probably my favorite medium of art, at least experiencing. Um, I can't stand poetry, or I mean, I'm too dumb for poetry. It's just not for me. Music I like, but I like to play it. but I like to play it more than listen to it most of the time. I mean, who doesn't like music? That's whatever. But it's
Yeah, of
not.
course.
So yeah, music would be the thing I more like to interact with.
Mhm.
I would never want to make films or anything like that. It's too tough. And then TV's great. I just don't. It's just hard for me to commit to a show. And it's always a really big. Ever since Game of Thrones, I've now very cautious of putting so much investment in a show when if it has a bad ending that it just fucks over the rest of the show. So
Mhm.
where a movie, if it's bad, I mean, you're already like watching it. So yeah, I don't know. I just connect with film the most of the bunch. I just like the conciseness of it all, and I think, I mean, I also just grew up. On the weekends, you go rent a movie, watch it. It's like just good old fashioned time. So I think that's why that's the medium I really just like to experience. But
Oh, that's great.
what about you, Isaac?
That's a good question. I mean, you're the one who really got this all started, which again, thank you. But I think that I'm not completely sure because I'm a big believer that just like in general, like your favorite if you look at different genres of things or different, types of things, that could be TV series, that could be movies, that could be books,
Yeah.
really whatever. I think that like your quote unquote favorite is always going to be the thing that really got you into it. So for me,
Mm.
obviously, I'm just like a huge sci-fi fan, right? Star Wars, obviously. I don't think I have to say anything else. Star Trek, more recently things like Blade Runner.
Wait,
Just a lot
Isaac,
of
can
these.
I say something really quick since you
Sure,
said
yeah.
sorry? Sorry, I will be super. So you know how it's May the 4th, right? Today?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. My cafeteria had May the 4th day, and it just was blasting Star Wars music the whole time. And
Was it at
then,
least like Cantina music? Please tell me it's Cantina
I
music.
mean, it was just a soundtrack, but yeah, not like the most.
Oh,
I know, the most Eisley. That would have been consistent. They should have had a band that played like most Eisley jazz. Anyways, But then there's a part where it's like, come get the Star Wars themed food. And I
Mhm.
was, what the heck would be Star Wars themed food? It was just lasagna. But yeah,
Oh,
so that was all. It was very disappointing. It was
right.
cute. Anyways, sorry. You were saying Blade Runner, Star Wars, Star Trek, Blade Runner,
Yeah, no,
sci-fi.
yeah. So, just sci-fi in general, my favorite genre. That's obviously what got me into it. And that's what my favorite, genre, subgenre is right now. But like, it's definitely a great question. Unlike you, I never played an instrument growing up. I didn't really read, but I can read, but I did not read a lot of books growing up. Um, so I mean, for me, very much same like American suburban culture, right? Go to Blockbuster,
Yep.
get a movie. I was like the last generation to do that.
Hmm.
Um, and just watch it for the weekend. And I think that just like, over time it kind of, I don't know, you know, people just generally speaking find a way to kind of just like, I wouldn't say escape, but I would definitely say like yeah, definitely not escape. I don't know what the word is, but basically to just like not really like be present, I guess dissociate, but that also sounds really aggressive, right?
Hmm.
Um, I when I was a kid, for example, I really loved playing make believe Star Wars. Yeah. So I think that what got me into film was just like seeing like just the different ways that people would build worlds that they themselves would fall in love with. Like, a great example of James Cameron's Avatar, right? That's just all his shit. He's just deciding to do whatever the fuck he wants to do, and that's amazing. Because we all got those worlds in our heads, right?
Hmm.
You have your interior monologue story, right? We all do. But you better. Do you not?
What?
You
What are
don't
you?
have like you don't have like if you would ever write like some sort of like cinematic universe type thing. Is that just me?
What? I don't know. Well, how does that relate to monologue? Like you have a monologue for. Just to tell me, expand, expand.
Yeah, no. So it's just like all right. So James Cameron, the dude behind that, the Avatar series, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know him. You know
yeah,
him.
yeah,
All right, just
yeah,
making
yeah.
sure. So from what I understand, and I've done no research on this, so I might be completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's just like something he thought of, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, that would be really cool to make. So he made it.
Mm.
And that's something I really love seeing. So, especially when people build like an entire world from like the ground up, like Star Wars, Blade Runner. Um, what's another good example? It's just really interesting to me to see how people, think of not just the world around them, but like definitely just like what their I guess their vision is. So I think that's always been interesting to me.
Gotcha. That's like a really good answer, Isaac. Yeah, world building is such a awesome part that film does. I don't know. This is also we'll get to the movie soon, I promise, because I'm assuming I know we don't have much time. But um I don't know, I feel like the past couple weeks, it's funny. I still like watched 2 or 3 movies, I think, within the past 2 or 3 weeks. Um,
Yeah.
but I felt like I haven't been watching movies and I've been more into reading recently. So it's just kind of
No,
an
of course.
interesting
New
time.
chapter. So
Yeah. So um yeah. So also Isaac, what time do you need to like leave
you're
at?
fine.
Okay. All right. Well, oh, no, I'm not. So should we head into the also? But yeah, great question, Kevin. Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
amazing question.
And the same thing will be next week. So if you see on the little community thing, feel free to ask whatever. Um, so Isaac, do you want to get into this film for the week?
Nils, I really would love that. But first,
Okay.
I think there's one thing that you're forgetting.
Oh
It's Stickscast.
yes, episode
Nils, it's
number.
you. Yeah, there you
Okay.
go.
Uh,
38.
38. Yeah, I
I thought
really.
you were gonna do
I
it.
don't know. I thought you. Yeah, no. I realized also I said 38 last week and it wasn't 38.
You said
I
38 last week? Oh
yeah.
shit.
I feel like every
Fuck.
episode we're just gonna think it's 38. It feels like a
Well,
38.
what if we did this like Family Feud style? And no one would ever know. But what if we did this like Family Feud style where we just recorded all of them in a row and then we just like released them over the course of a year? So it'd be like 52 hours of recording,
Just
slow
us.
release.
Yeah, every time it says 38, 38. Uh
Yeah.
um Do you want to introduce the film, Isaac, since
Yeah,
you
sure.
brought it up?
Yep. Let me find the synopsis.
Oh yeah. Also,
This is a great opportunity for me to prove that I can read. Sorry, miss.
nice. So no. You do what you do. I was just gonna never mind. Go.
All right. In this adaptation of the autobiography The Pianist, the extraordinary true story of one man's survival in Warsaw, 1939 through 45, Spilsman, played by Adrian Brody, a Polish Jewish radio station pianist.
Isn't it Spielman?
Or is it pianist? Spielman? Sure.
Spielman.
Yeah, my bad. Bad with names.
Although
I shouldn't be bad with Jewish names,
I
am Jewish. Spielman, yeah, I don't know why I can't do that. Sees Warsaw.
It's a satisfying name. That's the only reason I was really.
World War II begins. Spielsman. Did I do it right? God,
no,
I can't do it right.
Spielman. Yeah, there you go.
Spielman is forced into the Warsaw ghetto, but is later separated from his family during Operation Reinhard. From this time until the concentration camp prisoners are released, Spielman hides in various locations among the ruins of Warsaw. I really hate that I'm laughing as I say it, as I read that. But yeah, so Nils, obviously, I'm sorry that you couldn't continue your trend of joke reviews.
Yeah, no.
You know, this is definitely a movie that's been on my list for a while. And I mean like a long time, probably over a year by now. And I was really happy to get to it.
Hold on. Okay, I mean, I guess whatever. When you said a really long time, I was like, oh my god, this must be like 10 years. Dude, a year is not a really long time.
For me, it is, because normally you just go and watch it, you know? It's different.
Okay, fair enough. But the way you set that up, I was like, oh man, this is
man, I'm like 21. Come on, I'm
I know, I got you.
A year is like, you know, a little less than 5% of my life at this point. Oh god. Sorry. But yeah, you know, been on my list for a long time. You know, for a lot, being Jewish, you know, a lot of my friends and family have seen the film and they've been like, oh, have you seen this? Whenever we talk about the Holocaust, which is a really weird thing to bring up when someone's talking about the Holocaust. Oh, have you seen the movie? But you know, it's cool. So yeah, it's been on my list for a while. Thank you again for agreeing to watch it. Just what did you think? I mean, I read your Letterboxd review, so I know, but I would love to hear about it.
You make me sound like such a bigot. Thanks for watching the Holocaust movie.
Yeah, by the way, behind the scenes, Nils is like James Corden or Ellen DeGeneres.
What? Okay.
Abusive.
Also, I'm gonna really quick.
Is James Corden abusive? Or am I making that up?
He's a piece of shit. I don't know if he's abusive.
Thank you.
But yeah. Also, really quick before we get into this, this film has, well, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Oscar nominees. Some of those, it was nominated for best editing, best costume design, best cinematography, and best picture, and it won best actor for Adrian Brody, best director for Roman Polanski, and best writing, adapted screenplay. Also, Isaac, before we get into this, did you know about Roman Polanski's like whole ordeal?
I don't know who that is, besides what you just said.
Okay.
No, is this hold
on. Isaac, just look up Roman Polanski controversy.
No.
Sorry about that, dog. I didn't know about. Okay, I like to say I didn't know that.
No.
I didn't know that before I did the review, so that does not affect my thoughts on this film.
1977. When was he born? He was born in 1930.
Dude, he was alive during the Holocaust. That's why this film is personal to him. He escaped the ghetto.
Well,
but
that's
and allegedly, the part of that's not allegedly is he also fled the U.S. and then went to France to escape being.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's just compartmentalize that and throw that out the
Yeah, not a fan of the
Yeah,
director. Okay, good to
yeah.
know. Thank you for
I
telling me that. That's actually like super important to know.
yeah, I saw that and I didn't want to be like, oh, but like probably should just say it. It
Yeah,
also
no, definitely. I agree completely.
I also saw a funny thing on Wikipedia where it was when it was like in 2011 or I don't know, like 2000, whenever but he's like Arnold Schwarzenegger as governor was asked if they should arrest Roman Polanski or whatever, and he's like yes, but this is a very funny sentence.
Okay.
Anyways, okay, so let's throw that out the way. Um, Forget it. Even though this was his like a super personal film for him because he escaped the ghettos and grew up
Mhm.
somewhere outside. Um, so sorry, did you ask what my thoughts were on the film? It's been
Yeah,
a while.
sure. I mean, like, we can, I don't know how deep you want to delve in right off the
Yeah,
bat, but I
I
mean, just
think
feel free.
I think there's a right. This is ripe for a very good conversation because I think I know based off your
No, we read
view.
each other's reviews. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I
yeah.
know what we're getting into.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with this. This is a good movie. All right, this is a good movie. No. Because all right, it's a good movie. Okay, I'll even say my score now. Actually, no, that's gonna make people think I hate it when I don't. It's
No,
a good
it's
movie.
you rated it as a good movie,
It's a
according to my
good,
scale.
yeah, it's a good movie. And I'm gonna start with this too. When it comes to my tastes, right? Because also ratings in the end are all bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Right, when it comes to nonfiction films, a lot of the times, if they just, because I'll get this out of the way. This is a very, from what I could see off like Wikipedia, this is a very faithful and well done adaptation of the memoir about Spielman. All right, so like all the bases are covered. I think it's a very well made film. Um, just getting that out. Um, but a lot of the times when those nonfiction, like I don't want to say biopic, um, but films are just kind of like depict an event that happened,
Hmm.
and they don't necessarily add much more to maybe the conversation or something like that. I can get a little bored, and that is sort of what happened in this movie, and I will expand on that. Um, but there are still like examples of nonfiction that I still think that I love. So it's not like, oh, I hate nonfiction. Like I, for one, like really like Schindler's List. I think that's an amazing film, right? Um, and I can't my baboon brain can't necessarily explain to you what makes those different. Another one's like the Malcolm X film or Grave of the
Hmm.
Fireflies. They all are nonfiction, but they use a lot of like artistic liberty to kind of do something, right? This film
Hmm.
is much more just straight to the point with some really though brilliant sequences of filmmaking. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah. So, Isaac, I'll go back to you because I feel like I just talked a lot there.
No,
Um,
keep going if you need to.
well, I will, but I want to take a quick break. What
Okay.
was your favorite part of the film? Or well, actually, hold on. Let's do this instead because I think this might start with a good little. What did you think of Adrian Brody's performance in this?
I thought it was really good. I haven't read the autobiography. But I mean, definitely, I would say it's one of the better acting performances I've ever seen, probably top three. Um, Probably top two. I honestly can't think. It's difficult for me to say directly like how, accurate his portrayal was, because I
Yeah.
haven't read the autobiography and I wasn't there. So I don't really know anything outside of what the film presented. But I mean, it was that was like some of the best acting I've ever seen in my life. And especially just like, I think that something, and I'll talk later when we're talking more specifically about the film, but when it comes to acting, the film takes place over a few years, right?
Hmm.
And I think that he just did a really just fantastic job of displaying how, I guess, the environment had been impacting him, like between, because we would skip long pieces of time, sometimes short pieces of time. um it, when we did have those time skips, there really wasn't any like I guess, lag, which you normally see with these types of things. It all felt very structured and organized in terms of, he's been holed up in this apartment for like 2 weeks. He's he's obviously not great, and I think that like just
Oh, uh-oh. Isaac? Uh-oh.
he did a really good job with that,
Isaac,
which is just something.
you
Oh,
cut
how
out.
long was I cut out for?
Um,
Fuck.
you said the last thing you said was he's obviously not great. Or like,
Oh yeah, he felt like shit because okay, yeah. Sorry, let me just close it up then. Normally, from what I've seen in a lot of media, that's TV shows, movies, whatever. When portraying like a time jump,
yeah.
there's normally like a bit of a disconnect, and you don't feel like it's completely natural, right? Well, in this case, even when they did a time jump, it just kind of felt in order, if that makes sense. Like it didn't feel like there was that disconnect between his character here and here. It just felt like they're the same character, and obviously stuff's happened between, but you can very clearly see the same just character, if that makes
Mm.
sense.
Mm.
So I thought he was really good.
So you say like your favorite part is like his progression in terms of just kind of
Yeah.
losing his. Would you say like losing his humanity in a way of just the
Well, no, I
conditions
wouldn't. I
he's
wouldn't say it that.
or or like uh losing, I don't know, yeah, in terms of like the conditions he was in over time. It's like a natural progression of or
Yeah, it seemed like
degression,
a very yeah. It felt like a very
regression.
natural regression. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought he did that really well, and
Yeah.
that's obviously time jumps are something really difficult because especially in a movie like this, when you're going from like a time jump of 2 days to a time jump of 2 weeks to a time jump of a year and a half, it's really hard to get a hold of it. But I thought he did a really good job just making sure that the character, while the character did remain constant, there's a lot of different stuff going on that could change the direction of the character, and I think he did that really well.
Yeah. Did you okay, I have a clarifying question for you. So you know the part I think it's after his family gets on the train, right? And he's
Mm-hmm.
leaving, and then so he's walking through that abandoned, the ghetto now where it's just
Yeah.
abandoned. That
Mm-hmm.
was one of my not
It's like
favorite
the most
scenes.
iconic scene in the movie.
Yeah. It was just, and I mean, and to get on like the set design is really
Mm-hmm.
good. I kind of read a little bit about it that they used Soviet barracks as some of those places, but I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
why were they like full on buildings? But whatever, I don't know. But yeah, I was like, wow, I was really impressed by that. So yeah, that was one of those scenes that was really really good. But so then he goes in the shop, and then there's the guy that's hiding in the some
Yep.
wooden
Under the
structure.
stage. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so when they get out, am I wrong, or does it then immediately do a 2-year jump like he was in there for 2 years?
Um, Not necessarily in my opinion. I thought, yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily, but I can see why you'd say that. I mean, it's just like, listen, we'll be in here for 2 days. I bribed the police. They'll let us know when it's all over. And then they did that jump. Um, yeah,
But it was more just like over those 2 years. Within those 2 years, is he became a labor worker,
yeah.
or was
I
it
mean, I would
was he
assume it happened
hiding for
pretty
two
quick.
years?
No,
That
I
okay,
he got out and then he became a laborer
okay,
because once the whole, I guess, evacuation or I think, what did they call it? Replacement, I think, or no, it was something. I can't remember the word. Because once they finished pushing, all the Jews onto the trains, um, they just like, once they finished the evacuation there, they were like, okay, cool. And then that's when the police officer came in that he had bribed. Was like, hey, it's over,
yep,
come out. And then they probably just chilled for a bit before the Germans were like, hey, wait a second. Because, there were still all those like Jewish police officers that didn't necessarily
yeah.
have to get on the train. So I would assume they just assimilated.
Did those? I'm assuming. Did those? Yeah, police officers then just turn into labor workers with
I would
him?
assume so.
Yeah.
I would assume so. I'm
What
not,
were they?
I don't really know like the exact
Yeah.
historical
Sorry.
connotation there. But I would assume so. I
Yeah.
don't think that any Jews are really like treated well. So
Yeah. No. Yeah, I was. What did you? I mean, I'm not gonna like
no, do it. Come on.
but did you know what they were building when they're like laying the bricks down, and stuff in that
I
second
would
half.
assume they were probably just like rebuilding parts of like the ghetto that had been torn down. If I had to
But
guess, I don't know.
yeah, because I was just like everyone was already gone, so I just didn't know
Mhm.
what then the point of what maybe it was for military. I don't know.
Maybe just building infrastructure. I mean,
Yeah,
they said it in the film they had a labor issue,
yeah.
and so yeah.
And also, dumb observation. I didn't realize they just had regular. Well, maybe they were like wives or something like that, but regular German citizens like residing in those ghettos or
Yep.
whatever. So, because yeah, then you have the second time he's in a flat hiding, and that was another one of those good scenes. I mean, although I don't
That
know,
wasn't in the ghetto.
was that not that was just in
That was
Germany? Oh
opposite
yeah,
side of the wall.
because
Yeah.
because they said the heart of the lines. Okay, there we go.
Mhm.
Duh. I don't know how I didn't realize that. Um,
That happens.
did you? So another thing I was a little curious, right, is that he was supporting the resistance, right, with the
Mhm.
guns. But
Yeah,
did the
from the
move?
laborers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And obviously it didn't succeed, or at least that specific resistance maybe contributed, but didn't succeed.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I wouldn't really. It's definitely difficult to understand because again, haven't read the books. I don't really know much about it,
yeah,
and I'm sure neither of you. So
yeah,
like, it's hard to tell outside the context of the movie. I don't think that was like a coup to like escape. I think that was just like a we're gonna die with dignity type
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. No, I was more just because they had that right. And he's throwing the guns over the wall, and then
Mm-hmm.
it kind of just. Unless I missed it, I don't feel like they went back to address it, or even like, was there a line that you know
What?
in terms because they were arming right people on the other side of the wall. Oh no,
Yeah.
dude, I'm stupid. Never mind. Forget I even said that because then yeah, then they had
No,
that resistance in the buildings. I'm so stupid. I like
that
how I didn't
happens.
have that connection. Um, but yeah. What were the other things? I don't know. Do you have any other like big things you um wanted to say before I was um um can I ask? I don't want to use the word favorite.
Okay.
But what do
Oh,
you
I
think
know what
was
you're getting at.
yeah, like strongest scene in the film?
I mean, when he's walking through the ghetto after escaping from the trains, that's obviously like the most iconic shot, but that's also a cop out because that's the one that everyone would pick, right?
Sure.
So I mean, like, in terms of just like, I mean, in terms of just in general, so if you're taking everything into account, like cinematography, set design, acting, yada yada. Um,
Or I mean, it can also just be a scene that conjured the most emotion for you too. I mean, it doesn't have to
yeah,
be like
I
technical.
would say that the most, I wouldn't say like my favorite scene, like you said. I definitely wouldn't say my favorite scene, but I would say like the most like, I guess the scene that most sticks out in my head is when Hosenfield, I think I'm saying that right, the German officer that for some reason decided not to just kill him. I think that just like when they had like a street like a their forward operating base, and
Yeah.
it just like was like, yeah, this is like he's just a story above us. I thought that was really interesting to see because it's just like that that just seems ridiculous to me. Like not in a no way this happened, but like in a that's like so surreal. I can't imagine it.
Yeah.
Just because it's like there's so many things. There's like, okay, so you have a whole like German regiment whose command is 2 stars below you. You have a German officer who is giving you food, and it's just I could not even like fucking imagine that. But I
Yeah.
would say that's what definitely like I wouldn't say impacted me the most, but that's definitely the first thing that comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the director for many reasons, but I thought that scene was shown like very, very just like all encompassing, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. What about you? I mean, like what were you thinking on that part?
I was actually gonna say that was my not favorite part or most
Right.
impactful
Yeah.
part. Strongest part of
Strongest.
the
Yeah.
film.
Okay.
Um yeah, no, there's a lot of things. I like the ambiguity left I mean, if it is ambiguity of that Nazi officer, not, especially like the fact he gave him bread. It's one thing to just ignore him, right? But then he was like continuously giving him resources, and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, yeah, I
Too
don't
bad he was
know.
a Nazi.
Yeah, I know. Too bad he's
Bummer.
a fucking loser. But yeah, no, there's something. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I I'll guess maybe. I mean, once again, I'm not trying to sympathize for a Nazi. I wouldn't do that. But in terms of just like at that point, the Germans were just getting ass rammed by the Russians,
Yeah.
because he even says like the Russians are on the other side of the river. I think he knew it was just a lost cause. And so maybe I don't know. Maybe I think there's a sense. And then yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, keep going.
And then just kind of going into that, the the piano in that scene of him playing the piano, it could have been like cheesy, or something like that, but I think it was done with just the perfect amount of sincerity to it. I don't know. I thought that scene was just honestly kind of beautiful, and I in terms of just and then like once again, not trying to fucking sympathize with the Nazi, but just with like the Nazi listening to that music, and you can see it in that whoever the actor is playing, you can like see it in his face, and it's so subtle. And Adrian Brody's character too, obviously, in terms of just the life, its own force, existing within just like this horrible, situation, and especially because we've seen routinely, throughout for almost over an hour that he's not able to play the piano, um, and so it made the payoff of him being able, to kind of have some of his life back, that much more sweet, and especially when the song itself is really nice.
Yeah.
So
No, I
that
think that's. Oh, sorry, I keep cutting you off. I'm my bad.
no. I'm also talking for a long time, so don't worry. But I don't know, and so that yeah, just seeing that it's not connection, but just there's just that very nature of just that Nazi listening, to it. I don't want to like lib it up and be like, oh, but yeah, I don't know. It did something. It was really beautiful.
No, that's a super impactful scene. I think that also, I would say the movie did really well, but I'm gonna say the story did really well because obviously the movie's based off a story.
Yeah.
I think that what it did really well is just show, and obviously the actor, I don't know his name, it's just like, it just, while it didn't, how do I say this? Sorry, I had all that time to think about to say this.
No, you're good.
It definitely, like, for me at least, it was really confusing as to why, this Nazi officer who at this point was almost like 6 years into the war, right?
Yeah.
And this is an officer. This is not like just like some new enlistee.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Why he would do something like, why would you, well, A, not, why would you go against your order, and B, why would you help, the person you're supposed to kill? And I think that the movie, and obviously the autobiography, does a great job, is it doesn't really explain that. And I think that's, I personally really like that element. Like, it could be a lot of things. Maybe he felt bad and he was trying to like do one last act of redemption. Maybe he, like you said, he knew the Soviets were coming, and maybe he, who knows. And I think that that's something that the movie portrayed really well, because it just showed just how confusing people can be sometimes. And I think, and again, there's a ton of potential reasons why, but we're never going to know why he did that. Like, when he was in the Russian POW camp, when the violin player walks by and he was like, hey, listen, can you get this guy to help me because I helped him? Maybe he had completely selfish intentions for it, maybe not. And I think that that's like probably one of the most beautiful parts of the film. We will never understand why people did those things. And it's just, I think that's, I don't know, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think it played it because, yeah, like historically, We don't know why. Maybe we do. Maybe there is a reason. You know,
Maybe there is a reason. I just didn't
yeah,
read the book.
and and the movie intentionally left it out I mean, either way.
Mhm.
Yeah, really yeah, it was really clever. It made me because I for a while it's just really that middle chunk, the middle act. It's like good. But it just kind of plays it. It's just saying the story, which is fine. But it's like, all right, man. I don't know. And but yeah, the ending swung it back together and like wrapped it up, in a nice bow tie, for me. And you know, my opinion is obviously matters the most,
Of
when it
course.
comes to a movie about the Holocaust.
No, of course. It's always up to the viewer, right? Come on.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So I don't really have much else to say.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I
I got
might.
shit
Yeah,
tons.
yeah. I
I
gotta
got
say it.
loads.
Yeah, go,
Yeah.
go, go.
So I mean, delving really strictly into like them, and I wrote about this a lot in my review, so you might be get a feeling of deja vu, right? Um, I think that I gave this movie 5 stars. And I don't do that very often.
I know.
Um, Especially like when it's serious and it's not like just like like Minions or Bullet Train. But like uh yeah. um I found like this was definitely one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life, and there's a lot of reasons behind that. And going back to me talking earlier about things like world building, and in this case it's not fictional, it's very real. And just being able to create something that seems so foreign to us, right? I think that like the parts that a lot of people, and this isn't targeting you, obviously, I wrote that review before seeing yours.
That felt
um
so. That yeah, that review felt so targeted because I was
yeah,
like, at least say Nils because
no,
you
it's
said
it's a
they.
very it's a very
But
it's a very common it's a very common, at least from the people I've talked to about it, it's a very common takeaway.
okay,
um so you're just a basic bitch, which
yeah.
is cool, no shame. Power to you. But
Thank you.
no, so like a lot of the parts that a lot of people thought drag, because it's a long movie. um it won best picture, that shit's over 2.5 hours. um I think that just what the takeaway that a lot of people have from it is it drags along, because it's a story set over 6 years. It drags along. There's parts that just like are completely boring, and you're not really getting anything out of it. It doesn't really like try to show any, I guess, foreign concepts. So a lot of people think that it's just like quote unquote not special enough, right? But in my opinion, and obviously this is my opinion, I I just see it the exact opposite way, because the way I see it is this is 6 years of a person's life, and obviously we're only seeing snippets of it.
Mhm.
Um, and for a lot of those, the parts that people really specifically refer to are like the apartment scenes when he's just like in his apartment literally not doing anything. Sometimes he'll look at a window and you'll get a look at like some revolution happening.
Mhm.
um I think that those parts were honestly the most impactful parts of the film, because for I mean that was his life, and obviously a ton of other people, but I'm not going to talk about them. But that was completely his life. There were stretches of 2 weeks at a time. He wouldn't see a single person. He wouldn't eat a single thing. There were, I mean, just waiting and not knowing. That was like, I mean, for obviously for a lot of Jews, but for a lot of people, that was like the vast majority of World War II, especially in places like Poland, like Warsaw. Um, and I thought that those were by far the most impactful parts of the film, because it just showed how like I I got to pull up my review to get the exact wording, but it just showed how, I guess, maddening it all was. Because listen, I got a shit ton of ADHD. I could not sit still in a room for like more than maybe 4 hours. I can't do that. And just having to see like what he had to go through and all that stuff, I thought that made the film a lot better. Um, that being said, it just beautiful film. I literally could not say enough about how just I mean, just how horrific it was at points. Um, but I think it perfectly showed everything that it meant to.
Gotcha. I like
Bit of
that
a
take.
rant, sorry.
No. I like the take in terms of it showing the weight.
Yeah.
Where when I was thinking back about films I've seen about the Holocaust, a lot of them don't really ever actually show the length or time.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, like Schindler's List, it's not really that. I mean Jojo Rabbit's it's not really nonfiction, but
Mhm.
that's more about a whole other thing. It's not really about so yeah, no, I get that. I respect it. I still might argue there might be a better way to depict it, but I can't give
No,
a
of
fucking
course.
but I can't give a solution. So
Oh yeah.
I'll just be like,
Also,
yeah.
to be fair, it's not your job to give a solution. You could just be like, yeah, listen, I just didn't really like the way that X, Y, or Z was shown. And in this case, it's the passage of time. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
different ways to do that, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with having that opinion.
Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, no, I think that's a very valuable take. And I'm glad have the you think that about the movie. I love the movie so much because this is like a really well loved movie.
Mhm.
Um, so it'd be a really bad look if both of us were assholes on this podcast. And um, so and yeah, I think I'm definitely more in the minority. I think most people would be like you and how
But
they
I mean,
see it.
it won Best Picture and Best Adapted Screenplay, so I'd assume so. But yeah,
Yeah. So that's
and Best Actor. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, like because yeah, when I saw your review, it kind of made me question necessarily like how because I do think the movie does exactly what it needs to do.
Yeah, of course.
Saying the story. Like that so in that sense, like why then would I not give it a five?
Mhm.
Um, but it's I'm more just trying to be more honest with myself and be like, so I don't know. It's more just the story itself I really like. It's just maybe just the execution of the film. Um, just it was good for me. So
No, that's great to hear.
yeah. Um, but yeah. Do you have any other thoughts yet?
um, I do, but like I don't really think they would add much, to be honest. I mean, like, so sorry. For example, like, I think that obviously I could say positives and positive about the movie.
Mhm.
But I will say no. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I said everything. We can. Yeah, I'm Gucci. We're
You
good.
good? We're
We're
good.
good.
Oh
Can you cut me saying Gucci though, please?
no, I'm not gonna cut you from that.
Okay. All right.
Everyone's
Well,
gonna
that's gonna hurt.
everyone's
All
gonna
right.
hear you. Um,
Oh
saying
God.
that.
All right. Well, it was worth a shot. But yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah. Tell your
awesome.
grandma I said hi.
I will. Yeah. Sorry, Grandma. I had to stay in Seattle to record Stickscast movie cast.
Well, yeah, and then, but here's the thing: if she was like, "Well, aren't time more important?" and then you'd be like, "Then the Holocaust."
Yeah. She's like,
That's how you get her.
I'm sorry, Grandma. Do you have an episode that has over 1,000 views on YouTube? I don't think so. So, um, uh, man, but yeah, what a day to
That's a good
celebrate
movie,
too.
though. Brokeback Mountain was a good. That was
Yeah,
a good movie.
that's a good. That's a good movie. Isaac. Oh, I have a feeling. Watch Shanghai. Noon. Well, I already
Shanghai
forgot.
Noon.
Shanghai. Whatever movie told us that we're gonna watch next week.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Watch
Uh-huh.
that break. Yeah,
Yeah,
Shanghai Noon. That's
yeah.
gonna
That's
break
it.
that cowboy formula. That's gonna get us
This
2,000 views.
no, I watched the trailer. Nils, this looks. Oh
How
man,
have you heard of that film?
never. I've
Yeah,
never heard of
it
that.
showed up on Amazon Prime for me.
Oh,
I was so excited when I saw the cover and then I watched the trailer and I am bouncing off my seat just in
Jesus.
raw excitement um
Yeah,
for this film.
yeah. So
So
yeah, I'm
awesome.
looking forward to it. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Isaac, all right. Well, yeah, that was a good six cast. I mean, we covered all the bases.
Yeah.
Um
We've
so
officially I'll wait for you to stop recording to say that.
Okay. I do like to say I love this range of films that we have on
Yeah,
this.
we definitely have a really diverse.
we, we are definitely the first podcast to go from like Pain and Gain to The Pianist. But that's what makes the Stickscast great, is we cover everything. There's no stone left untouched.
We will cover any goddamn movie on the planet, and
That
at one
being
point, every goddamn movie.
that being said, when you mentioned Eyes Wide Shut, I was like, I do not know if we can do that one. That one is just,
Why? What? I just haven't seen it.
I mean, no, watch it, but you'll be like this. The content in the film is would just be so
Let me look up a
fucking weird.
synopsis.
No, no, don't look up the synopsis. Don't, you
Oh,
gotta,
okay.
you gotta watch
Okay.
it. This just go into it blind, and you'll
All
see
right.
exactly what I mean when
So it's
we
like a
talk.
from dusk till dawn type situation.
What's from dusk till dawn?
All right, don't look it up, but you should watch
Oh,
the trailer.
oh, yeah, I need to watch
You
that.
should watch that.
Yeah, you'll
You
just
should definitely
you'll
watch
be
that.
like, okay, and then you'll realize what like the themes we'd be talking about, and it would just
Okay.
be really funny but really weird. So yeah. But all right. Any final thoughts before I end this Stickscast movie cast episode 38?
We love you, Kevin.
We love you. Beautiful. All right, Isaac. Thanks for doing that.
Thank you.
Enjoy us $1 beer night. Or
I
right, that
will.
was all right.
Oh yeah,
See
that's the
ya.
big. That's the big one.
All right, later.
That's it.